Steph, thank you so much again. Great catching up with you. It's been a year. I
Mm-hmm.
can't believe it's been a year already. I had
Believe
to
it or
double
not.
check the article to see if it's actually been a year. It has been. Congratulations on all the good that's come your way on Marvel Voices and on Nubia and everything in between. How's the year been for you?
Hectic, surreal, like what the heck is going on? But also really great too. If you would have told me that, I don't know, what was it, this time last year, I was getting ready to start or shipping out Living Heroes copies to folks for Kickstarter, and then now Nubia is getting ready to ship out courtesy of DC. And then I'm co-writing that. It's just been really surreal. Scripting actually, which is a doozy.
Yeah, are you picking up on more because this is not new. This realm is not new for you. But are you picking
Mm-hmm.
up on anything new like technically or craft wise?
Yeah, so pacing has been really huge. And then also working out just the process. So Vita is an extremely just wonderful writing mentor because they've allowed me to, if I come across a problem in the story, it's not a, hey, you fix it like this. It's, hey, let me guide you in this direction and let you figure it out. And I've been so thankful for that because from issue one to at the time of this recording, I'm starting on issue 5. It has been, I can see the growth, and like the editors and everyone else sees the growth, and not like, issue one is lacking or anything, but you can tell how comfortable I am in setting things up. And if there is some dialogue that is a little stagnant, putting some action beats in there and making it something that the reader feels like is more interactive than passive. That's been a thing. And then also, I know a lot of folks know me for the funny stuff that I tweet, but it's been really nice to get into that more serious side. Like the humor and stuff is still there, but I don't know, it's like been nice to show the range.
I wanted to ask you, what is it like what's the process been like and just the whole experience working with Vita and Aletha, two incredible icons, and then you're joining this team of just super folks. What's this like? Um,
It's it's been great. Because I've been treated like, an equal. It's not just like, hey, some newbie off the street or anything. It's like, hey, you're here for a reason. And we're gonna treat you as such. So again, like I was saying with Vita, like they are just so great with mentoring. And honestly, I hope that they think about being an editor one day because they got that down packed. But working with an artist like Alethea has just been phenomenal. Like I don't like when we first started getting pages in with the pencils and everything, my mind was blown because I'm like, yeah, this is exactly how I visualize things. And it's just been really surreal to one work in such a group because Brittany, the editor, has been phenomenal as well. A lot of stuff that I was like, I think I'll let us do that. But yeah, they have let us do a lot of things that I didn't think that they would, but it makes sense to the story. So it works. So I don't know, like it's just been a life changing, career changing experience.
and it speaks volumes too to get to witness the creation um, that you're all working on as a team of creators of color, as
Mm-hmm.
folks getting to put their mark on a very necessary project. Can you talk a little about Nubia's journey, the Amazons, I mean, just the scope of what you're trying to do? I know this is far from the beginning of Nubia's story, but for you,
Mm-hmm.
I know this is the start of something really significant.
Yeah, so Nubia is an interesting case because while she's been around since what 1973, I believe, she actually hasn't really been present. But also, she has a fan base that follows her. So, like, they go up for her in the same way that they would like a Storm or Misty Knight, which I think speaks a lot to that character because unlike them, she has no history really. It's just a couple appearances in the 70s, Super Friends, Supergirl, which she was comatose the whole time in that issue. And then you see her again 20 years later with Nubia with the apostrophe after the U in a Wonder Woman comic that took place in what was it, Las Vegas. So it was both scary and exciting at the same time because then you also have like what McKinney was able to do with Nubia Real One, and then also the future state stuff. So when I found out that I was going to be writing Nubia and that she was now Queen of Themyscira, I was like, you know what? I like this because sure, the first thing you're thinking, she should be Wonder Woman. Like Diana's gone. She can go over to the Justice League and, take Diana's place, but instead Hippolyta goes. And the reason why I was so open to that was because if she's on the island, I don't know, for me, storytelling wise, I feel like there was a lot more that can be done. Because if she's over on the Justice League, she's getting lost in the shuffle. A lot of times Diana gets lost in the shuffle. A lot of characters do, because there are just a lot of superheroes there. So with Nubia being queen of the mascara, two things needed to happen, or two things that both Vita and I thought was really important was to one, um, make it so that there is a reason that you care about her being queen. And how do you do that? To make people care about the actual Amazons on that island and what is going on at Themyscira, and maybe to interrogate, is it really a paradise? Because usually utopias aren't really that. They're utopias because some half truths are being told, or some truths are being omitted. Everything is not what it seems. So when we kind of figured out like that is the through line, and bringing back Doom's Doorway and the Well of Souls, because that's the other thing, Nubia's origin, we had to change that. So how do we do that in a way that, first off, the bar isn't hell, because her original origin is her being made of clay, her and Diana, one of white clay, one of darker clay, and then Ares comes and takes her, and so on and so forth. So it's not like it's an origin that is something that is really significant in the way that, I don't know, like if I walk up to somebody on the street like, oh yeah, I really love that origin story, I really don't think that's the case. So in saying that, to give her an origin that sets her on a path to being Nubia and Nubia only, not because no shade to her being Diana's sister in the past or anything like that, but when you think of, oftentimes when you mention Nubia, people are like, oh, like the Black Wonder Woman or something to that extent. But it's like, no, this is a separate person. Like this is not Diana 2.0 or Diana Fenty Shade 480 or anything like that. This is Nubia. So going back to like George Perez's run, which I always kind of go back to that run because a lot of things were introduced that I felt opened up the mascara to, or began to open up the mascara to a lot of folks who might have felt, I don't know, like left out. Because at the time when Nubia made her appearance, that was the only Black person you saw. And then you have George Perez's run where the Well of Souls is introduced. And now you take care of that problem of, well, then how do you get other women of color on this island? Well, if they're born again here, souls that have been, harmed in the most egregious ways in man's world, get to be born again and live anew as Amazons on this island. So I love that because then we get Philippus and we start to get other characters of color show up on that island. So why not have Nubia kind of go that route and still have ties to Diana? So in the first issue, you'll see what that is, but that, and then also Doom's Doorway, the fact that these women have been essentially condemned to being prison guards to Doom's Doorway, because the gods made it so. And the other thing is, okay, if we're thinking about Doom's doorway and we're thinking of like prisons and how they work, again, everything is not all what it seems. And sometimes the corruption doesn't take place prior to somebody going behind that door, it happens afterwards. People change. So taking all those things into consideration and trying to build a story for Nubia, that one, again, makes you want to care for her, also these other Amazons that she has to interact with, the things that they have to deal with, and she has to pretty much like parse out and figure out. That was kind of like the basis of everything. We just kind of built from there. And I love that we did that because I wanted to make sure, both Vita and I, that Nubia and the Amazons was not the last miniseries or series that you're going to get, period, with Nubia. And the only way to kind of do that is to give reasons to continue her story, which I strongly feel like we've done that. Like this will not be the last of that, and also because of the way that we've set up her origin, there's room to explore other things, like her time in man's world and how that might have affected her and her relation to the Greek gods, because we all know that that is pretty complicated when it comes to Black folks. So kind of seeding things earlier on, so that later, even if it's not me, if it's not Vita, whoever it is who gets to write Nubia, sometime later, like they have things to kind of pick and run with. Because all the other characters get that. Like that's the whole point of a legacy character, is that there's things that you can go back and pull from and keep moving this story forward.
You do Nubia such justice and service with this reimagining, um, or actually like building that foundation for even other writers to build on top of, because she goes beyond being the Wonder Woman analog, or um, I think of like Monica Rambeau and Storm and Okoye, who we don't attribute those microaggressions like, oh yeah, Okoye as the black. No, Okoye is Okoye. There is no equivalent. Same with Storm and Monica. Um, but now we have Nubia, who occupies that space. Um, what are your hopes for her future?
My hope is that she doesn't go away ever again, and she is just consistently there. I actually hope for the entire Wonder Woman family is that in the same ways that people think of the Bat family, that because you think of Cass, you know who that is, you know who Stephanie is, Damien, Dick, all of them, like who they are and what roles they play in that family. And Wonder Woman has been like the Wonder Woman mythos has been around for just as long as Batman. But when you think of the characters there, you think of the Amazons, like maybe somebody can rattle off Philippus or Artemis and Type, and like maybe two other people. Or like who is it? Please don't kill me, y'all. Not Cass. I'm blanking on who was Wonder Girl before Yara.
Listen, you are name dropping, and I have to nod because I'm like, if I try, I'm going to get killed. But you're right in that.
But you know what I mean?
No,
That
absolutely.
yeah. So and I'm wow, like because I definitely just recently read that entire team Titans run by George Perez this year, and I'm blanking on, and she was roommates with Starfire. Oh my god. Donna Troy. Anyway, so but again, like I can only name so many, and then you can only think of so many like characteristics, so many things that set them apart from one another or whatever. And that should change. If someone from the Wonder Woman family goes off and teams up with someone else, or just other characters, like what their role is, what they bring, and that's what it is. So honestly, in building up Nubia, I'm hoping that other Amazons around her and Themyscira itself have some type of prominence and importance in a way that it hasn't before. Because, this book is also even like subtly challenging when it comes to women being reborn onto Themyscira. Like, what does that mean? And it, you know, like how broad is that? Is that all women? Is that all encompassing? So because the soul is, you know, it's different territory. It has absolutely nothing to do with your physical form. So just kind of exploring that and seeing what's what. Because again, my hope is that for a lot of the characters that we have introduced, that later on down the line, when someone else comes in, they can pick up from that and continue to keep it going. Because I don't know, like to me as a writer, like that is extremely important. Like you want these stories to continue, and they can only do that if you give reason for it.
What are you hoping? What are some hopes that you have for readers now, as the creator and as a purveyor of the necessary stories and the necessary art?
Mhm.
There, there are things that we as readers should be doing diligently to try and keep, stories like Nubia's alive. What are some things that readers could do possibly?
Support in any way that you can. So even if that's monetary, of course, great, but word of mouth, because that is the biggest thing. So another thing that was important to me and a lesson that I took from Living Heroes is to make sure that within each issue there is something, two or three things there that someone is going to run to social media and want to talk about. Because you see, like we see it all the time right now that's going on with the X office and the resurgence of the X-Men. Essentially, like a lot of that is because of readers. So talk about it, have conversations. You know, it's a fun book, but also it's a book that is playing with different themes and exploring stuff through the lens of Nubia, which is different from Hippolyta or Diana, and exploring what this paradise actually means or what it doesn't mean. So keep those conversations going. Again, please go out pre-order, go to your comic book store, ask for Nubia. But um, my biggest thing is just to keep the conversation going because, of course, the folks at DC see that, and that's how you keep these characters around.
And you best believe we're going to be dropping the link and everything in this article when when this
Thank
interview
you.
goes up. The writing process for you now, you've got serious credits under your belt now, even more so than before. Writing, is it more stressful now, less stressful? You've got a little more expectation. I mean, is there pressure there? I feel like I'd be so stuck in my head, I would like fuck up everything that I'm writing.
Yeah. So, and I had to let that go quickly. Because you better believe it crossed my mind that this thing when you take on a black character is all of a sudden that character has to be everything for everyone. And that's impossible. You shouldn't want that from a character or that from the writer. So I had to get very comfortable in the fact that this is not going to be for everyone. As much as I would like it to be, that's just not going to be the case. So all I can do is tell the best story that I can, to work with what I can, and to try to push the envelope in the ways that I can, that is going to benefit the character, and also the reader as well. So it's been a lot of reminding myself, like, hey, you got here not because you just stumbled and fell into an opportunity. Like you are here for a reason. You've been putting in the work. The talent is there, the drive is there, and you are. I'm a sponge. Like Vita tell you that like every little bit of wisdom that they've imparted on me, like I have gone and implemented that. So get out of your head, get off of social media, because
My
that's
lord.
it's just I'm telling you, you kind of have to do it. I took 30 days, deactivated my Twitter account because I don't know, like for me, that's the only way that I can prevent myself from like opening it and saying that I'm going to scroll, and then you end up on there for like 2 4 hours or whatever. But do that, do whatever you have to do to just kind of keep the focus. But is writing any more difficult? No. Um, because again, if I wasn't supposed to be here, I wouldn't. So just trying to continue to remind myself of that, that my voice is important, is unique, and if someone else could do it, then they would be doing it.
I definitely am taking that to heart too. That kind of advice, because it is really easy to get stuck in your head and then go down the
Mhm.
rabbit holes on social media, and then to just really get down on yourself for
Yeah.
no reason. Um, but yeah, I feel like lately I've been doing that. I've been cutting back on the social media, and as a result, just writing more, just
Yeah,
in general. So that's felt good. Uh, Real quick before I let you go, we got two sort of like scenarios here. If Nubia turns into a
sure.
series, right? Who are you casting for Nubia? And if it became a film instead, who takes that?
Oh
Who takes
my
that
God.
role?
Hmm. I've been trying to actually think of this and I still don't know, but what I will say is that um I would love for Nubia if it was turned into a movie for it to be animated before live action because I just have strong feelings about animation and I know that DC when it comes to their animated stuff they hardly ever drop the ball. But as far as live action, I don't even know who I would want to voice her. Definitely somebody with a strong voice. So maybe not necessarily Angela Bassett, but somebody who is giving you that type of
Mm-hmm.
performance.
Mm-hmm.
Live action, just somebody who looks like they could break your neck, but also at the same time give you a hug that is going to reassure you that things are going to be okay. Okay. So whoever that may be, I'll be happy. But I mean, just thinking ahead like that, it is really surreal that that could be a thing. I don't know how to describe it. I just feel like there's something really magical happening right now. A once in a lifetime opportunity situation, and I'm just so very thankful to be a part of it. Like there are nights that I wake up and I'm just like, oh my God, like this is getting ready to be a thing that is out into the world. And I don't know, if you would have told 8-year-old, 10-year-old Stephanie that she would be writing for DC Comics or any comics, Marvel, whatever, I would have been like, sure, I will be working in a lab somewhere. So I don't know what you're talking about.
I think I don't know that we give our childhood selves enough credit. Maybe Stephanie would have agreed, right? Because when we're
Yeah, she
kids,
probably would have.
the
Yeah.
idea of something like that is so like magical. We're like, oh yeah, of course it's gonna happen. I feel like if I spoke to myself in my late teens and early adulthood about certain things, I'd be like, no, that's not gonna happen.
You know what? You're right about that. Because definitely early 20s would have been like, girl, no.
Right,
Seven,
that
8 year
hell
old
no.
probably. Yeah. Because it's been pretty cool for my son to kind of see this process because he's 6 now, but a lot of times like, hey, mommy's writing, and he was able to see like the comic come to life. He was like, hey, so like, is that the thing you've been working on? Like, are like the words and all of that? I'm like, yeah, it is. He was like, that's so cool. And I'm like, I love that because it's I don't know, like I love for him to see that, hey, like if you want to do the thing, like you can do the thing. We'll be here to support you, and you can make it happen.
You worked to get here. You worked your
Yeah.
ass off to get here, and not surprised at all. And I'm definitely not going to be surprised at what's to come. When they start casting for it, I'll try and throw my name out there. I don't know, do a little
Go ahead. I'll slide it on through.
try a little something. I really appreciate your time, Steph. This is definitely not going to be the last time we talk, and I'm excited for our next conversation. Is there anything you can share with folks? You can plug anything where we can find you on social media, your other work, future stuff, and past stuff, and whatnot.
What can I share? Because I do have some other comic book stuff coming. I just can't talk about it yet. So be on the lookout for whatever that might be. But you can follow me on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram at Steph_I_Will. If you're in the Charlotte area, I'm going to be signing copies of Nubia and the Amazons on the 27th at Heroes Aren't Hard to Find. That's in Uptown Charlotte off Pecan or Pecan, depending on where your grandparents are from. Uh, and then I'll be at the Charlotte MiniCon on November 6th and the 7th. I'll be tabling, which is blowing my mind because I love that. The convention, they have a bigger one in the summer, Heroes Con. So to be on the other side of that table is, I keep using this word, it's surreal because it honestly is.
It's surreal, but emphasis on the real because you got
Yeah.
here and you really worked to get here. Steph, I'm super, super moved by the stuff that you do, super inspired by it, and really excited for everything else to come. Thanks so much for your time.
Yeah, no, thank you so much.